Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment and really hear me today. What I'm about to share with you isn't some secret hidden in a book or a formula that only a few people get to know. No, this is simple, powerful, and right at your fingertips. Imagine just 1 hour, 60 minutes. That's all it takes to shift your entire life, to move from where you are to where you were born to be. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now in the hour you have before you. You see, change doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be complicated. It starts with a single choice, a single hour, a single step toward the life you've been waiting for. And today, I'm going to show you how that hour can rewrite your story, how that hour can awaken your purpose, and how that hour can set you free. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to really think about this for a moment. 1 hour, just 60 minutes. When we look at our lives, we often think that real change requires massive effort, years of planning, complicated strategies, or some dramatic life-altering event. But what if I told you that change, profound and lasting change, doesn't it always come from grand gestures or overwhelming commitments? What if I told you that just 1 hour, a single hour, has the power to shift the entire trajectory of your life? Too many of us are waiting for the perfect moment, thinking that if only we had more time, more resources, or more opportunities, then life would finally turn around. But the truth is, waiting is the thief of your potential. Waiting keeps you stuck. Waiting robs you of the life that is already within your reach. 1 hour, just 60 minutes, can be the difference between remaining in the same cycle and stepping into the life you were meant to live. It is a gift, and yet it is one we often overlook. That hour can be spent mindlessly scrolling through your phone, watching the same patterns repeat themselves in your life, or it can be invested intentionally with purpose and focus toward your dreams. The choice is yours. The beauty of 1 hour is that it is measurable, tangible, and entirely within your control. You don't need someone else's approval. You don't need a team, a mentor, or a perfect plan. You only need the willingness to say, I am going to take this hour for me. I'm going to use this hour to create the life I desire. In 60 minutes, you can begin to study, to learn, to read, to write, to reflect, to pray, to plan, to act. You can plant the seeds of success in that hour. You can write down the goals that have been lingering in your heart for years, but never made it to paper. You can take the first step toward a healthier body, a stronger mind, and a life filled with purpose. And when you do this consistently, hour by hour, day by day, you begin to see the compounding power of small actions. 1 hour may feel insignificant when you look at the vastness of your life, but it is in these small, intentional investments of time that transformation begins. 1 hour can lead to the clarity you have been searching for. It can break the fog of indecision and fear. It can bring focus to your mind and purpose to your steps. Too many people underestimate the power of small, consistent actions because they are chasing the illusion of overnight success, the big break, the sudden miracle. But real change is rarely sudden. It is deliberate. It is built minute by minute, hour by hour, action by action. When you embrace the power of 1 hour, you reclaim control over your life. You begin to understand that you do not need to wait for someone to hand you opportunity or for circumstances to be perfect. You are the architect of your destiny. That hour becomes sacred, a time where distractions fall away and your focus sharpens. It is during this hour that you can confront your fears, challenge your limiting beliefs, and step into a version of yourself that you have only imagined. The hour is yours to command. You can choose to spend it in doubt, in worry, in regret, or you can choose to spend it in action, in creation, in growth. 1 hour can also be the spark that ignites momentum. Momentum is powerful because once it starts, it carries you forward in ways that feel effortless but are built on consistent, intentional effort. That single hour can be the moment that begins a ripple effect through your day, your week, your month, and ultimately your life. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who inspire you. Behind their achievements, there were Countless hours, many of them small, dedicated, focused, seemingly insignificant at the time, that built the life they now lead. What if you allowed yourself that same grace, that same commitment to dedicate just 1 hour every day to your growth, your dreams, your purpose? What would change in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years? The power of 1 hour lies not in its length, but in the intention you bring to it. It is the decision to show up fully, to lean in, to invest in yourself when no one else is watching. It is in that hour that you can break the patterns that have kept you stagnant. It is in that hour that you can begin to rewrite your story, to redefine what is possible for you, to set standards for yourself that demand growth, discipline, and focus. Many of us have spent years waiting for someone else to rescue us, for circumstances to align, for the universe to deliver the life we want. But the truth is, life is rarely handed to us. It is created by us, moment by moment, hour by hour. And it all begins with the simple, radical act of dedicating 1 hour to your purpose, 1 hour to your future, 1 hour to the life that you have been dreaming about. Ladies and gentlemen, now that we understand the power of 1 hour, the next step is learning how to use it intentionally. 1 hour in the wrong place with the wrong focus can become just another hour lost. But 1 hour spent on the right priority can become the seed that grows into everything you have been waiting for. The question is simple, but it requires brutal honesty. What is your priority? Where should that hour go? Too many of us are living lives dictated by the urgent, by the distractions, by everyone else's expectations. We are reacting instead of creating. We are running on autopilot, moving from task to task without any real direction. And then we wonder why our lives feel stagnant, why our MS are still waiting on the shelf, why success seems always just out of reach. The truth is, clarity about your priority is everything. Without it, even the best strategies, the best intentions, the best habits cannot carry you forward. That 1 hour must have purpose, and that purpose must align with the life you are trying to create. Start by asking yourself the hard questions. What is truly important to me? What matters most in my life right now? What is going to move me closer to my goals, to my purpose, to the life I was born to live? And be honest. Don't settle for convenient answers or safe answers. Your priority is often uncomfortable. It requires sacrifice. It may not be the easiest task, but it is the one that will yield the greatest transformation. Once you identify that priority, you must protect your hour with unwavering determination. The world will try to steal it. People will demand it. Distractions will beg for it. But if you give your hour to everything else, you will never give it to yourself, and you will never give it to the life you were meant to create. That hour becomes sacred when it is aligned with your priority. It is the hour when you focus on what really matters, the hour when you move the needle in your own life, the hour when you invest in your dreams instead of someone else's agenda. Identifying your priority also forces you to confront the truth about where you are spending your time. Many of us are experts at filling our hours with busyness while ignoring what is truly transformative. We scroll, thinking we are relaxing or catching up, but in reality, we are burying our potential. That hour can be used to learn a skill, to study a subject, to work on a project, to reflect on your purpose, to build a habit that elevates your life. It is in that hour that you plant the seeds of change, and if you do it those seeds will blossom into results you once thought impossible. And here's the key. Your priority should not be determined by what others think you should be doing. Too often, we chase someone else's vision for our life, the career they admire, the lifestyle they expect, the success they define. But true transformation comes when your hour is devoted to what aligns with your unique gifts, your unique calling, and your unique vision. That is where real impact begins. When you take ownership of your hour, when you decide what matters most and refuse to let anything steal it, you begin to reclaim your life from distractions, from mediocrity, from stagnation. Every great achiever, every person who has built a life of purpose began by identifying their priority. They knew that they could not do everything at once, that their time was finite, and that their energy was valuable. And so they made choices. Hard choices. Intentional choices, choices that required them to say no to some things so they could say yes to what mattered most. The power of identifying your priority is that it transforms the hour from ordinary to extraordinary. It turns 60 minutes into a powerhouse of potential. It is no longer just another part of your day. It becomes the engine driving your life forward. And when you act on that priority consistently, it sets in motion a domino effect. Other areas of your life begin to align. Your focus sharpens. Your decisions become clearer. Your energy is no longer scattered. You become unstoppable, not because you are doing more, but because you are doing what matters, and you are doing it with intention, with clarity, with purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, identifying your priority is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right thing. It's about giving your hour to what will move your life forward, not just temporarily, but permanently. It is about reclaiming control over your time, your energy, and your destiny. And when you commit to this, when you truly dedicate that 1 hour to your highest priority, you will begin to see doors open, opportunities appear, and results unfold in ways that seem almost miraculous. That 1 hour, once aligned with your purpose, can change the trajectory of your life faster than years of aimless effort ever could. Ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about the power of 1 hour and the importance of identifying your priority, but now we have to confront something that affects every single one of us: procrastination. That silent, sneaky thief that convinces you tomorrow is better than today, that whispers that you'll start soon or that you're not ready yet. Procrastination is not just a bad habit. It is a mindset, a cycle, a pattern that steals your potential and keeps you trapped in a life far below what you are capable of. And the most powerful thing about the 1 hour rule is that it gives you a weapon, a tool, a simple way to break free from this cycle. 60 minutes is all it takes to interrupt procrastination and step into action. You see, procrastination thrives in uncertainty and hesitation. It feeds on doubt, on fear, on overthinking. When you sit with a task or a goal, staring at it, imagining all the ways it might fail, procrastination steps in and paralyzes you. But when you commit to 1 hour, a finite, non-negotiable block of time, you strip procrastination of its power. That hour becomes a container, a safe space, a dedicated time to act without distraction, without judgment, without overanalyzing. And the beauty is that it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be complete. It just has to be started. So many of us wait for motivation to appear, thinking that we have to feel ready, inspired, or prepared. But motivation is fleeting and perfection is a lie. Action is what breaks the cycle. When you dedicate 1 hour to moving forward, even imperfectly, you begin to rewire your mind. You tell yourself, I am capable. I am disciplined. I am in control. That 1 hour can be used to tackle a task you've been avoiding, to start a project you've been dreaming about, to make a call, to write an email, to organize, to plan, to begin. It is a concentrated burst of purpose that interrupts the inertia that procrastination thrives on. And once you experience the momentum that comes from just 1 hour of focused action, something shifts inside you. You start to realize that you are more capable than you imagined. You start to see that the fear that has been holding you back is smaller than the drive that lives within you. Procrastination loses its grip because you have proven to yourself that you can move, that you can act, that you can take ownership of your time and your life. This is not about a single victory. It's about creating a habit, a pattern, a new way of engaging with your life. When you commit to 1 hour a day, every day, you begin to dismantle the old narrative that you are lazy or incapable or always behind. You replace it with a new narrative. I am intentional. I am disciplined. I take action. And that narrative becomes stronger with every hour you dedicate to it. Breaking the cycle of procrastination also requires self-awareness. You have to identify the triggers, the excuses, the distractions that keep you stuck. Maybe it's social media, maybe it's endless scrolling, maybe it's fear of failure, maybe it's self-doubt. Whatever it is, 1 hour gives you the opportunity to set boundaries, to reclaim control, and to step into your power. And let's not underestimate the compounding effect. 1 hour may feel small in the moment, but repeated consistently, it transforms your productivity, your mindset, and your results. That hour becomes a statement: I am not waiting. I am not hesitating. I am not allowing fear to dictate my life. You see, procrastination doesn't disappear overnight, but it weakens each time you choose action over inaction. Each hour you dedicate chips away at its hold, builds confidence, and strengthens your discipline. And there is something profoundly empowering about knowing that in just 60 minutes, you can accomplish what once felt impossible. 1 hour to break free, 1 hour to start, 1 hour to interrupt the negative cycles that have kept you from the life you deserve. It is a radical act of self-respect and self-determination. It is the hour where you reclaim your authority over your time, your choices, and your future. And once you experience the transformation that comes from 1 hour of decisive action, you begin to see that procrastination is not a permanent condition. It is a challenge, and challenges are meant to be overcome. You begin to understand that your life is not a product of circumstance or luck. It is a product of the consistent, focused choices you make, hour by hour, day by day, toward the life you envision for yourself. That 1 hour becomes a declaration, a practice, a movement toward the person you were always meant to be, and nothing can stand in your way when you commit fully to it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have already seen the power of 1 hour, how identifying your priority can direct that time, and how it can break the cycle of procrastination. But there is one element that ties all of this together: consistency. Daily consistency is the secret weapon that transforms a single hour into a life-altering force. You see, it is not enough to act once in a while, to dedicate an hour here or there and hope that change will magically appear. Transformation is built on repeated, deliberate action day after day. When you commit to 1 hour every single day, you are creating a rhythm, a habit, a momentum that compounds over time in ways that are nothing short of miraculous. Think about it. 60 minutes a day may feel small in the moment. It may feel almost insignificant when you look at the magnitude of your goals. But when multiplied over a week, a month, a year, that hour turns into hundreds of hours of focused, purposeful action, hundreds of hours of growth, learning, and progress that separate you from where you are now and where you want to be. Consistency is what transforms effort into results. Without it, even the most brilliant ideas, the most intense bursts of energy, or the most passionate intentions can fizzle out. It is daily action that turns dreams into reality. That is why 1 hour every day is non-negotiable. It is your investment in your future, the sacred time where you choose yourself, your goals, your growth, and your purpose. Imagine dedicating 1 hour a day to your most important work for a full year. That is 365 hours, a staggering amount of time devoted entirely to what matters most. In those hours, you can learn a skill, develop a habit, work on a project, strengthen your mind and body, and move closer to your dreams. And the beauty is that daily consistency doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be perfect. The commitment is to show up, to give your hour fully, to honor your time, and to respect your goals. When you embrace this rhythm, it starts to affect more than just your hour. It begins to shape your mindset, your discipline, and your character. Consistency teaches you patience. It teaches you perseverance. It teaches you that progress is not always flashy, but it is steady and reliable. The results you see may be slow at first, but as days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and months into a year, the transformation becomes undeniable. And here is the thing: daily consistency builds confidence. There is power in knowing that you can show up for yourself every single day, no matter how you feel, no matter what obstacles arise, no matter the noise around you. That confidence carries over into every area of your life. You begin to trust yourself more, to believe in your abilities, and to understand that you are capable of achieving the goals you once thought were out of reach. Consistency also teaches resilience. Life will throw challenges, distractions, and setbacks your way, but the 1-hour rule gives you a framework to rise above them. You learn to prioritize your time, protect your focus, and keep moving forward even when things feel difficult or inconvenient. The beauty of daily consistency is that it compounds. 1 hour today may seem small, but 1 hour repeated over a year accumulates into something powerful. It is in this repetition that habits are formed, skills are honed, and results are multiplied. It is in this commitment that ordinary people are transformed into extraordinary ones. And let us not forget the ripple effect of consistency. When you dedicate 1 hour a day to growth, action, and purpose, it influences every other decision you make. Your focus sharpens, your priorities become clear, your energy is directed toward what truly matters. You start to live intentionally, not reactively, and your life begins to reflect the investment you are making in yourself. Consistency is not glamorous, and it is not always easy. Some days you will feel tired, distracted, or unmotivated. Some days it will feel like the hour is too short or that nothing is happening. But the truth is, transformation does not happen in a single moment. It happens in the accumulation of small, disciplined, daily actions. That is the magic of the 1 hour rule, the ability to take control of your life one day at a time, to build momentum, and to create lasting change. Daily consistency is the bridge between intention and results. It turns your goals into actions, your actions into habits, and your habits into a life you can be proud of. The hour you commit today, the hour you dedicate tomorrow, and the hour you honor every day after that become the foundation upon which your future is built. It is not the dramatic, occasional efforts that change lives. It is the small, steady, deliberate investment of time, 1 hour at a time, that transforms your life in ways you cannot even imagine. Ladies and gentlemen, we have explored the power of 1 hour, identifying your priority, breaking the cycle of procrastination, and the transformative effect of daily consistency. But there is one final element that ties everything together: your mindset. You see, the most powerful tool you possess in life is not your talent, your resources, or even your opportunities. The most powerful tool you have is your mind. And the 1 hour rule is not just about what you do, it's about how you think. How you use that hour determines not only your actions, but also the way you perceive yourself, your potential, and your possibilities. For too long, many of us have been trapped in limiting beliefs, in thoughts that say, I can't, I'm not enough, this is too hard, or I'll never get there. These thoughts are powerful, and they shape your reality more than you realize. They determine how you respond to challenges, how you pursue goals, and how you see yourself in the world. But here's the truth: your mind can be rewired. You can change the patterns, the narratives, and the stories you tell yourself. And the 1 hour rule gives you the perfect window to do it. That hour becomes a dedicated time to feed your mind with thoughts that empower, challenge, and elevate you. It is a sacred space to replace doubt with faith, fear with courage, and limitation with possibility. 1 hour can be spent reading, listening, or reflecting on ideas that expand your perspective. 1 hour can be used to meditate, journal, or pray in a way that aligns your thinking with your purpose. 1 hour can be the moment where you confront the negative narratives that have been holding you back and consciously choose to create new ones. Rewiring your thinking is not instant. It is a process, but it is powerful. Each hour you dedicate strengthens the neural pathways of positive, empowering thought and weakens the old, limiting ones. It is in this consistent, intentional mental investment that real transformation occurs. Consider the way your thoughts shape your actions. If you think small, you act small. If you believe you are limited, you settle for less. But when you use your hour to cultivate a mindset of abundance, possibility, and resilience, your actions follow. Your choices align with growth, your efforts are fueled by belief, and your confidence grows because your mind has been trained to expect progress, to seek solutions, and to embrace challenges. The hour also becomes a space for self-awareness, where you begin to recognize the patterns that have held you back. You notice the fears, the excuses, the comparisons, and the doubts. And instead of letting them control you, you challenge them. You confront them. You replace them with thoughts that propel you forward. This is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary results, not because they are naturally gifted or lucky, but because they intentionally shape their minds to support the life they desire. Mindset is the foundation of discipline, focus, and consistency. Without it, even the most carefully planned actions can falter. But when your mind is aligned, clear, and empowered, your actions become effortless extensions of your thoughts. That is the transformative power of 1 hour devoted to mental rewiring. It creates a ripple effect through every part of your life.